I was gonna do a live earlier. It's been a crazy couple of days. Um, I actually feel kind of weird going out right now, but like I also like don't want to sit at home right now. So yeah, we're here in Hollywood. It's pretty calm. There's fewer people on the street, obviously, but overall, in this part of the city, it's you wouldn't necessarily know what's going on. I had to evacuate the other night, but fortunately, I was able to get back. A lot of people have not been able to get back. Um, hey, SJ. I was out today. We delivered some supplies to some firefighters, which was super cool. Uh, so we're out doing that, and then afterward, I was with my buddy, who's a journalist as well, and we were gonna take some photos, but by then it was getting a little late, and they have a curfew right now. We're allowed to. Curfews don't apply to credentialed media, but we just decided to do it tomorrow because I don't know. We just kind of made a collective decision there to start a little earlier. So that's what we're going to do. We needed a little more gear, you know. You don't want to walk into those situations unprepared. Unapologetically me. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. It's been pretty crazy. I got to say that. Tomorrow though, I really do want to do a live. So I talked to my buddy Jonathan, Jonathan Green, and I think we're going to go out. Like today, I really wanted to do that too, but I don't know what happened. It was just a lot going on, and when we finally were ready, it was 6 o'clock, and so tomorrow I'm going to start a little earlier, I think. But we did deliver some supplies that were going to these firefighters, which was cool. So it's good to help. No shortage of people helping right now. I mean, but we need a lot of help. It's bad out here. I mean, you might not be able to tell right here, and I'm just doing this walk because I don't know. I got used to this walk, but it's gotten real bad out here. It's like a ghost town. I guess we'll go to Santa Monica tomorrow. Or maybe the Palisades. So unfortunately, Tuesday and Wednesday, there's going to be, unfortunately, another Santa Ana wind, which could be catastrophic. I mean, as if it hasn't been bad enough. It just seems like we can't catch a break out here. It's just unbelievable. Yes, if the Ferris wheel is gone, that that pier actually looks. By the way, did you guys see? I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter too, but I don't know if you saw. But I caught a bunch of neo-Nazis going down there trying to like they came out there from Arizona to try to usually they just exploit these situations to try to recruit. So they had set up this incredibly sad table right outside the pier. And so, I put that video up just to let people know what was going on. And it went kind of viral. And the comments were pretty priceless, I gotta say. You'll understand if you see the video. It's on Twitter under my account, Eric Levai. They said they were going to come back the next day, but the video went viral, and I don't know if that they didn't come back. So I don't know what happened there. I feel kind of weird being down here. Like I don't know. I also don't want to sit at home right now, and this is one of the only ways that I know how to just clear my head a little bit. So. I don't feel like this is necessarily something I like want to film right now. This is just like Hollywood Boulevard, but you know. She said neo-Nazi exit stage left. Yeah, they didn't come back. I've written about one of those guys before. I'm not going to say his name, but in my Rolling Stone, like the first article I wrote for them, he's in there, and it was the same guy. Like I know who they all are. I just like I don't always use their names because sometimes that's what they want. The video is funny though. I'm telling you, these goofs are standing up there, like clearly making like no effort at all. Like it's clearly just like basically a scam. I think he actually linked to his Cash App, which is like pretty outrageous, right? There wasn't even an attempt to be like, this is like we really care about this problem. So it's safe right now. The evacuation order has been lifted, which is why I was able to go home. I don't think there's anything you'll see on this video that you'd be like if you didn't know what was going on, it would look like another night in Hollywood, except for that there's fewer people on the street. But to be honest, on a Sunday, it's not that busy here anyway. So they were able to contain the Sunset Fire, which is the one that, why we had to evacuate. That one's contained at 100%, so that one's over, as far as I know. So they've actually put out a bunch of the other ones, but the two that are still going, and if you go to the website Cal Fire, you can kind of like, especially if you're not from here, it'll give you a little bit of a better idea, or you can download the Watch Duty app, which is amazing. But the two that are still going are the Palisades Fire, which is Pacific Palisades on the west side of LA. And then there's the Eaton Fire, which is in Altadena, affecting Pasadena, that area. Yeah, it's weird down here. This place is crazy though, the night of the evacuation. Like I was driving back I was actually on the west side of LA. I forgot if the traffic lights were still out, but I did put up a video on this page where you could see on Slauson there was like no lights at all. So I came in, and it is funny to see the stuff that you grab in an evacuation, like the stuff you just instinctively grab. I think there's a story in that for sure. So I got my stuff really fast, and I was lucky. I was very lucky. And then I was in a hotel. Like I mean, I had there's a lot of places I could have stayed. I was lucky, but I don't know. I just decided to do that. So then I'm at the hotel, and like I'm sitting in the room, and the whole thing is obviously pretty weird. And like I had like a neighbor, and the person next door was just screaming. Like at different times, she was screaming at. Hang on. First, she was yelling at like a person, and then later she was yelling at a cat. And I think she had also fled the fires, but after 3 hours of that, I was like, yeah, as silly as it seems to complain about something like this, I have a problem. So anyway, I moved, and everything was fine, but... I'm not like really reading the messages, so if you write something weird, I probably didn't see it. I'm not really in that kind of mood right now. This alley is super interesting, though, I gotta say. Like very limited patience. Seems weird to like go to a club right now or like a hookah lounge, but I don't know. Everybody has their own way of decompressing, I guess. It does seem kind of weird. Then again, I'm walking around doing a live stream, so, you know. Kel said Will and Jess were out there last night. Oh, that's cool. That makes me feel better. I saw they had a fire thing up here for a second. Fire relief. I'm not going to stand here until it resets. Wow, this is really empty. Yeah, there'd usually be more people than this. So yeah, we were out there today. We were out in like the Temple City area. We were right by the Eaton fire, but we'll go back tomorrow. So I'm like looking for all my gear today. Like a lot of it is the gear that I used during protests. And you know, I can be like disorganized. This stuff is everywhere. I was like kicking myself. Like I needed to have that in one place. And I actually found everything except for my goggles. I cannot find them. So I went to the hardware store, and obviously like all that stuff is sold out. I think I can find one though. I just need to drive like far enough away from LA where that stuff isn't sold out. Like, I don't know, maybe south of here. I literally found everything, like respirator, you know, KN95, everything. There's some like fire resistant suits you can wear, but I looked into that, and first of all, I don't have one. They're not really in stores. You have to usually mail order them. They're also like a couple $100, so I was like, all right, I'll just not be that close. That's fine with me. But a friend of mine, Scooter Caster, is like does a lot of great on the ground work. She had like all the gear, and she's not even from out here. She came out, to cover the story. There's Pee Wee Herman's star back there. That guy was pretty brilliant, Paul Rubens. This is a ghost town. I mean, look at this. Hey Veronica, how you doing? Air's not too bad. I actually forgot my mask right now. Area, I was like, oh boy, yeah. I'm kind of sensitive to that stuff anyway. When it gets really bad, I do get like a kind of asthma, like it's happened to me before. So I was just thinking about this video. Like I think some of you guys have been watching this since the beginning, especially the Scientology streams. There's a video that would be funny, but I'd want to make sure it was okay to post, but I guess if I could describe it to you, like, you know what? I'm going to check with the person first, and then I'll post it. Oh, here's Musso and Frank's. There is a curfew, to answer your question. Not right here. Curfew is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in evacuation zones. Reporters are not subject to curfews, so I can go into those areas anytime I want, but to be honest, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have a problem. First of all, a lot of police don't know the laws, which is not, I think, unsurprising if you follow me or other people like Will. Then they're gonna a lot of times start hassling you. Like, I mean, it's one thing if you're in a bad area, like, if you're being like an idiot or something, but I'm not that guy, obviously. I'm pretty careful. They're gonna ask you who you're working for, and then if you tell them you're a freelancer, it's just like the whole thing can be such a hassle that you just want to make sure you're prepared. And they do give you a hard time. And then you have to explain what law it is. Like some reporters even started wearing a t-shirt with the actual law on it. The whole thing is ridiculous. So one way to solve that is just to go out in the daytime. Russell said we have a large presence in Clearwater, Florida. Absolutely. That was always supposed to be the official center, right? I mean, but they always said LA was kind of like the... Tom said, I'm glad I'm agnostic. It's funny. Here's the test center, which is permanently closed, essentially, more or less, because of one single man who... Did you guys see my interview with Film the Police LA? I really had a good time on that one. That's up on my Twitter. If you don't know that is, he's a cop watcher and a big activist in this city, and we had a good time on that interview. Veronica said the Texas firefighters come. It's very possible. When I was out the other day in Santa Monica, I saw firefighters from Manteca, which is like way north. I talked about that in the stream. Way northern California. So there's people from all over, from Mexico now. I saw an interview with Zelensky from Ukraine, and he actually was talking about sending 100 firefighters, which is like... I was like, I got a lot of respect for him, but I was like, man, you keep your people there. You need your people, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we'll get through this. Oh, you're finna pull up and intercept me? That's interesting. That's like, did you guys see the stream the other night where I talked about these like low energy comments that you get? Like, that's like the super low energy. There's like a raging wildfire. I don't think we're too focused on that right now. But if you want to intercept me, by the way, I'm on Highland and Hollywood. I'll be right here. Yeah, it's bad out here. There's a lot of people who are just never going to come back. It's like some of the stuff we've seen in other natural disasters. They just won't come back. I mean, I moved here around the time of Katrina, or maybe it was, I forget exactly when it was, but I remember looking for an apartment, and some of the people who were there at the same time, like it was like kind of like an open house thing or whatever, like something like that. And they were from Katrina. They just decided on California. Never and Aaron said, yeah, he's in the middle of a conflict right now. I know. You guys got true courage. That's leadership. Leadership is a quality. It's like you can get better at it, but basically it's something you're born with, I think, and like anything else. And you get better or you don't get better at it. And he just has that quality. I think being an actor does help in some ways. It doesn't make you a leader, but you kind of like know how things look on camera and all that. Wow, this place is dead. I got a feel for the people down here too. You know, this is how they make their living, right? Look, I mean, it's a catastrophe. Like, seems like a small thing, like it's quiet here, but these performers, I mean, that's their lifeblood, is doing stuff on this block. Okay, I've never, ever seen it like this. Ever. It's like a love boat thing. I don't think I ever saw this one. It's like an ad almost. I think they closed this area too. I don't think the Dolby Theater would be closed right now, ordinarily. I'm. It's interesting. Yeah, this is worse. There's a ripple effect when these catastrophes happen. Like we were hurting already out here, like especially the entertainment industry, which employs an unbelievable amount of people. We've been hurting for a long time. A lot of the business has moved to other places. Toronto, Atlanta, and it's great that they get jobs there, but it really hurt. It hurt LA. It hurt where I live. Oh, look, Shatner. This is dead. I've absolutely never seen this few people here. It's kind of like what's that movie? The Devil's Advocate. Remember that scene where they closed? Was it like Fifth Avenue or something in New York? Kind of has that vibe a little. Man, there's some pretty sick people out there. Just look at that last comment. Imagine actually saying that. I'm not even going to block that because I think it's important. I think it's important for people to, a lot of my job, especially like hunting down Nazis and stuff, is like exposing them, right? Like that's why I put that video up on Twitter. I try not to do that, but sometimes I think you got to shine a light on things. So I'm going to leave that sociopathic comment there. I did block another one though. Oh boy, look at this souvenir store. Look at that. Scarce is right. Look at that. Just nothing. Crazy. Liquor stores open. Understandable, and that's one of those is the word recession proof businesses. Wow. Wonder how business is. I bet it's pretty good despite the fire. Cross over here. You guys can, if you want, like, comment, subscribe. You can subscribe to my Substack where I publish independent reporting and investigations. It's all links in there. And if you want to support the channel and stuff, the kind of stuff we do, which is not really this kind of stuff. It's more exposing wrongdoing and corruption. Organized crime is usually how I like to say it. You can support the channel. Was that a custom? It was like a Tesla, but it had a Cybertruck, but it had a wrap on it. Yeah, I'm working on a few projects, Veronica. A long-term written piece about a state, like a news agency that's secretly operated by a foreign government, basically. I think that's going to be a good one. I've been working on that for a while. I'm working on a film script, which is fictional. I'm going to tomorrow, I think I'm going to publish military records I got of a neo-Nazi who served in the United States Marines. That's more like a public records just release. There's not much writing, but I've had it for a while and I was just thinking about it. Actually, he's one of the guys in that video I mentioned that I posted. I was just thinking about it. I was like, this is a public record. People should see this. So I'm going to publish that all on Substack. Some more stuff too. Nazi hunter, yeah. Who would have thought? All right, I guess we'll turn around here. Haskell Wexler. Haskell Wexler was like a super famous cinematographer. I think he was the cinematographer on In the Heat of the Night. Yeah, I hunt Nazis. I enjoy the work. I didn't want to do that kind of work, but kind of just happened. I don't know. I mean, it's an all or nothing thing, right? That's what the world did in World War II. I'm Jewish, right? So Nazis want to wipe people like me and a lot of other people off the planet. They want us to die. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you have to hold them accountable, send them to prison, expose them, expose their identities, the whole thing. I'd rather be doing other stuff, though, to be honest. As much as I enjoy that stuff. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. I don't recall ever. I can't smell any smoke here. I'm also congested a lot of the time. It's just been a constant problem. Like, not with, outside of any fires. So, but no, I can't smell anything here. Because the Sunset Fire, the one that was, so the Sunset Fire, which was at Runyon Canyon, it was basically right in this area. And that's been put out. They had major success when they did those water drops from like helicopters. And I also heard that the proximity to the Hollywood Reservoir made it a lot easier. I think we got really lucky. I mean, not lucky, it was these brave, firefighters and doing the work. But there's also a little bit of luck sometimes, Unfortunately, with the winds that are going to start tomorrow or Tuesday, I think it's going to be pretty bad. See, this would be open right now. That's what sucks. If you ever had a service industry job, I've waited tables, I did all that stuff. They can just close, and then you just don't get paid. It's not like, or they can send you home early and you don't get paid. Like it's. Yeah, Veronica, I do know who Stephanie Miller is. That's kind of like the gig I'd like where like a Sam Cedar. That's kind of like it's loud. Something I'm angling for. You know what I mean? Like, I would definitely be up for something like that. I was gonna do an interview, so we were actually gonna do the interview today with Jacob Harkey, but when the fire started, I texted Jacob, if you guys know him, and I was like, let's do this. It just like. The thing to talk about right now is the fires, and I just felt like it wasn't the right time for us to do the interview, so we'll do that next week on the 19th. But you said her dad was a prosecutor at Nuremberg. That's awesome. I think if you guys know who Ben Ferenc is, he recently, I think, passed away. He was 100 years old. And he was, I think, the last prosecutor from Nuremberg. And not just a prosecutor, the guy was like also like a legend in other ways. SJ asked about the 2028 Olympics. Yeah, Olympics are typically a big money loser for cities. As much as I love the Olympics, it's usually pretty bad. There's a lot of people who don't want the Olympics to come here. I mean, they are coming, and I'd be like, I love the Olympics. Like, I'm pretty stoked that we got the Olympics, but I understand why people don't like them, because it can have it has a downside. Pretty large police presence over there. Hey, City of Angels. I actually do want to go back to Santa Monica tomorrow too, because I heard they did deploy some National Guard and they have a staging area down there, so I'd like to go down there and take some photographs and video. I remember all the photos I got in 2020, which was it was so bizarre. What's the reasoning of deploying the National Guard now? Is it in some sort of, have anything to do with the actual like stopping a fire? Or is it just like what they call crime and safety? Or I believe the phrase is law and order. most of the people in this country, like the people who hold power, don't give a flying fuck about law and order. They just want to protect their own interests. You guys know I've like investigated that mob attack at UCLA on April 30th. You want to talk? They talk about law and order. Those kids were beaten senseless. They shot explosives at them, basically fireworks. There's been like 3 arrests. The whole thing is such a joke. But that's why we got to keep doing what we do. We got to fight for what's important and hold people accountable. Because if we don't, nothing changes. Hey Verity, I'm glad you enjoyed the Santa Monica streams. With my work schedule and everything, it's really tough for me during those days. So I just do what I can. That's something I gotta remind myself sometimes. That everybody has to remind themselves. That's something bad. That is not a good place to hang out. Bro, this area is usually creepy anyway, but it's like extra creepy right now. Yeah, I was on the note of doing what you can. Like my buddy today that I was with when we delivered the supplies, you know, he spent almost $200 of his own money, and he was like, man, like he was looking at it. He's like, man, look at it. You know, I feel like that's not enough. And I was like, well, look, you know, you just spent $200. Like most people can't do that. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going for it. I was like, you know, you do what you can. You said still no arrest in the Robert Brooks case. I'm not too familiar with that. I feel like I've definitely read about that. I don't know too much about that one. You don't like our mayor? There's nothing wrong with visiting Cuba. There's a lot of reasons I don't like our mayor now, but that's not one of them. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of stuff, not just walking. Look, Harrison Ford, a legend. Saw Paul Mazursky back there too. Fan of The Fugitive? That's it. Wait, this place is always closed, dude. Bro, imagine doing an escape room right now. Like, we literally just had to more or less escape the area. Like, it's so bizarre to even think about that. Yeah, The Fugitive was a great movie, though. TV show is great, too, but the movie was great. Healthcare executive was a villain in that one. Remember that? The firm, it was called Devlin McGregor. And he was lying about, that was a, spoiler alert. He was lying about the tests that showed like the drug was effective. And that's why they tried to kill him, I think. I can only imagine when they total up the numbers what the economic catastrophe of this is. You know what I mean? Like, it's about people, though. It's been sad to see people say these nasty things. It's like, people are human, man. Like, what? Like, why would you say something like that? You know? No matter how much I disagree with someone about politics, I would never want something bad to happen to their house or like their family or something. I mean, look at some of the comments even in this channel. Like, it's just like, it's like so sad. Like, remember what I said in the other stream with James Woods when they were talking about that? I was like, dude, I might not like the guy's politics, but I don't want his house to burn down or something. You know what I mean? That stuff is ugly. And it just, the thing is, it destroys, what it ends up doing is, there's a saying about it, I can't remember what it is, but when you have that kind of hate, it actually eats you up. You think you're like deploying it at somebody else, but you're the one actually who's in, for lack, you know, like you're on fire, for lack of a, not to make like a joke, but that's what it's like. You're only hurting yourself, really. You say human and pet reunited. Yeah, that's the kind of story we need right now. I'm still trying to get that dog. That's a whole nother story. Because with my schedule now, I'm not home that much, and people keep telling me, they're like, well, it's still better than being in a shelter, and I'm like, I agree with you, but I'm worried if I'm gone that long, you know? So tomorrow, because I know someone had unapologetically me asked. I'll definitely be out. I'd say probably around 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's what I talked to Jonathan about. Yeah, we'll probably go down to the west side near the Palisades fire. I just got to see if I could get these goggles. We might not need them, but I'd rather be like over prepared. Whoa. Hey, Tiffany. Well, one of the fires here that I had to evacuate from has been put out. So that was in this neighborhood. I live in this area. Um, I'd say we're about 10 miles from the Palisades fire, which is one of the major ones. And I'd say we're about 15 miles from the other fire. It is kind of weird, but you can't really see anything here. But those fires are burning. Maybe, yeah, 15, 20 miles from the Eaton fire. Yeah, we've done this kind of walk a bunch of times. It's just because of everything going on. I'm not as, what's the word, buoyant as I usually would be. Man, creep factor is kind of big over here right now. I'm about to go this way. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take you guys to if you watch these streams, the really cool spot. And then I'm gonna go back. SJ said Jess was saying that smoke and fumes were all over her skin. Yeah, you got to be super careful with that. I'm not an expert in covering wildfires. Like, that's not my area of expertise, but there's some good guides though. I was able to gather a few for reporters, and I've been able to gather most of this is kind of cool. Together the moon is ours. Cool. Thanks, Tiffany. Appreciate that. That's Capitol Records right there. I look pretty funny with all that gear on. Maybe I'll try to take a shot tomorrow. Of course, it's better than, experiencing some negative effects from the work. You asked about the homeless. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, in natural disasters, it's always going to be the people who need the most help who are affected the most, right? Like who's died in the fires too. It's like the elderly, people with disabilities. It's terrible. It has a ripple effect, right? Like, if you're unhoused in Santa Monica, you might not, like, you weren't in the Pacific Palisades where the fire is, but it affects you too. Services are not what they should be. People can't get to you to help you. That kind of stuff. Some of the people who normally would be helping you are in crisis themselves, right? So they're dealing with that. It's just like the whole thing is a disaster. This was a 7-Eleven. It's like crazy. This burned down about a year ago. Had nothing to do with these fires. I can't believe it still looks like that. This was a 7-Eleven and the only laundromat that like occasionally I would go to. I don't know if I just needed to get out or something, or it was super cool. The people were so nice. I think when our laundry was broken once we went here, but anyway, sorry, I digress. The point being, like, look at this. I mean, there's just nobody here. Whoa. This looks like a car. Wow. Luckily, there's a lot of 7-Elevens to answer your question about the Slurpee, so you gotta laugh. It's definitely more dangerous when no one's around. That's always true, I think. It's always better to be around a lot of people, I think. Like when I covered protests, I was always safe around a lot of people. But if you made the wrong turn and you walked down the wrong alley, you know what I mean? Like that's where it gets dicey. I appreciate you got my back. I appreciate that. That is good. This place is great, by the way. Bert's Garage. Really good professional way. Looks like it went out there for a sec. Sorry about that. I was saying Bert's Garage is a good mechanic. Maybe I can get sponsors just by walking around the neighborhood, you know what I mean? Yeah, good mechanics. They're good. And then if you're on the west side, honestly, I think they're the best mechanic that I've ever been to. They're called Piachowski Auto. I mean, these guys here are good, but this guy, John Piachowski, is like one of the best mechanics. It's just unbelievable. Because I used to live in that area, so I go to him more, you know what I mean? Like, now I live a little farther away, so it's tough. And he'd like fix things for free, and I never want that kind of thing, you know? I was always raised, like, especially in a house that, like, my dad loves cars. He's more or less like a mechanic, kind of like he basically like built a car once in our garage, like, I guess one of those kit cars. So I was always raised to, like, you know, you pay people, right? Like, you don't, especially a mechanic, like, you don't, even if they say they'll do it for free, you pay them anyway, right? But like, this guy would just not take money sometimes. He's the nicest guy. Or is the nicest guy, excuse me. He's still a mechanic. Chevron's a good sponsor, yeah. This live stream is sponsored by Chevron. Finding a good mechanic, shoot. There must be some good like YouTube mechanic channels, right? Like that's like, remember like the original like Car Talk, if you guys ever listen to that radio show before YouTube. That was like the original like mechanics who could communicate things to the public in a really funny way. That show was so great. You want to talk about creepy? Oh man. I feel like I'm in a music video in like 1983. Look at this. Unapologetic when you said that you have a good mechanic. That's awesome. Father-son mechanic shop. Yeah. Like my father says, a good mechanic is worth their weight in gold. I think he said his weight in gold, but I'm sure there's a lot of great mechanics now. Like I'm sure a lot of women work in auto repair too. I mean, that stuff is more pushed on men because of gender, you know, all that stuff. But I could tell I'm fading because I'm just starting to stumble over words and like not be coherent. This has been like super stressful. Like, because sometimes if you go to bed, you don't know if you're gonna wake up to another evacuation notice. Sarah Connor. You know, it's funny. So I could try to stream this if we go back to Santa Monica. The parking garage on those streams that I did the last couple days, the place I park every time, which is called the Santa Monica Place Mall, that's where the big chase is in T2, where he's playing in the arcade and the T-1000 comes in. That whole thing was filmed in that mall. It looks different now, but the garage looks the same. You said hello from Paterson, New Jersey? Wow. Guess who's from New Jersey? The guy talking right now. I know Paterson very well. All right. For those of you who watched the stream before, you know what you're going to see, but if you haven't, this is pretty cool. I've been sleeping like okay, but I wake up a lot, yeah. Because those alerts come in on the phone, you know, if you have to evacuate, so like you're a little on edge, but I don't want to act like there's a lot of people who don't have it a lot worse, because they do. My buddy Mike Rothschild, who, if you guys might know who he is, he's a reporter and does a lot of conspiracy stuff. You know, he lost his home. I mean, it's horrible. And he's got a couple young kids, you know, I mean, that's one thing I was thinking about too. Like, there's got, like, how do you, like, explaining this kind of stuff to kids has got to be very stressful. And also making sure they're not scared, right? Like, that's got to be extremely difficult. So when I walked past that car, she was like huffing on a balloon. You know what? I'm not even gonna ask. I think the view is better. I think it's better over here. I'm going back and reading your comments. Natasha said hello from Arkansas. What's going on? Tiffany said, are you having to stay in a hotel right now? Fortunately, I've been able to go home. Thanks for asking. They were able to put that fire out. I mean, I have friends and stuff who, a lot of people were offered, to help me. So I made a spot decision to stay in that hotel that night. I just felt like that, for me, that was a little better. I don't sleep well as it is some of the time. So if I'm in like somebody's house, a lot of times, like, I don't sleep well. And of course, then I ended up going to the hotel, and my neighbor was screaming for about 3 hours, so I had to move. But once I got to the new room, I was okay. Feels weird to even complain about something like that in a time like this, Albert said, I feel for all the people that are affected by the fire. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, Verity, I have a good friend in Australia. We talk almost every single day. And, we have to talk at like these kinds of times because of the time change. And she was actually sending me, she was telling me about all the fires there over the years. And she sent me some information just today. Because you guys have had some bad ones. I should go to Las Vegas. Honestly, I haven't been there for a long time. I always have a blast, though. It's a great city. Hopefully I'll get some sleep tonight. That melatonin helps, sometimes. I don't understand how people drive these Cybertrucks. Like, it's the ugliest car. I don't get it. Wow, the YouTube algorithm is working overtime. I just keep seeing this message is held for review. And I'm not even looking at them because I'm not really feeling that right now. Unapologetically me said, one of my former students is in the biz and knows a lot of people lost homes. Yeah, I know. I think I've reached out to almost everybody I know, but my cousins I have some relatives. I don't have too many relatives out here, but I have a few. They had to evacuate. So your phone just, when these things happen, it's just going crazy. And people are calling you. They're seeing if you're okay. You're checking with them. And you start to get pretty frayed, you could feel it. Yeah, that's the Tesla Cybertruck. I want to find out what kind of drugs the person was on who designed this, so I can get them for myself. No, but really, I am curious, like, what... Okay, so then I'm gonna cut this, I think I'm gonna cut this short in a sec, but, so upcoming streams too, we're gonna do the Waymo, the self-driving car. We in LA and I really want to do that, so for you guys who follow her channel. And then a friend of mine named Taylor, who recently opened an acupuncture studio. I think we're going to get acupuncture. I just feel like watching me get acupuncture might be kind of funny. I also could be a complete idiot. Maybe it's not funny at all. But I was in there with my friend today, and I was like, I feel like this would be, as much as I hate to say it, this would be a good video. So, like, I feel like me and we in LA getting acupuncture would just be objectively funny. Or not, I don't know. All right, y'all, I'm gonna cut it short. Well, not short. It's been a while. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to support my reporting or any work I do, the funny work, whatever, you could do that in any of the links. Otherwise, appreciate you guys. Be safe.